welcome to the Zach and Lachlan Sports Watch. We are away again another week. It's been a big week, particularly for those on the Apple Isle. They have their coach. But speaking of a man that is just in fine form at the minute, Zach, mate, you've been killing it each week out in the Zach and Lachlan Sports Watch. How are you, mate?
Going well, and what a day in footy we've got. We're making history today. Tasmania, they've got their man in Ken, and I'm a big fan. We'll get into that a bit later, probably off the top. But no, going well. Good to be back on Monday night.
Yeah, look, we should get into it off the top, but it's secondary news to the news that I've just had a little look at. We'll beat Flinders Park. We'll beat Flinders Uni. No worries. We got him. We got him. What happened?
Look, we're up at half time. You wouldn't believe it. We're up a couple of goals at half time. Unfortunately, what we're doing well in the first half didn't quite, translate into the second half. It was a good day for footy, mind you, and we were quite good in that first half in using footy and linking up in chains. But, oh boy, in that second half, they were, a touch too good for us. One that got away, I think. I feel we were certainly the better team, I think. But you can't really say that when you go down by 40 points, can you?
Mate, that's tough. That is tough. It's been slim picking at Smithfield this year. I was quietly rooting for you. Obviously, I didn't have any ideas what the scores were until I checked about 5 minutes before we went on air. But you were uber confident. The boys were uber confident. Going into it. Big game this week. You got Mitchell Park. They're cellar dwellers as well,
Yes.
so you must be looking forward to that.
No, I think they're in the top 4 still, Mitchell Park. But
Sorry,
they're a bit like the Giants, aren't they? They're best from their worst. Is a big difference. So hopefully we get them on their one of their worst days and try and knock them off at Mitchell Park. It'll be tough though.
How does that work then? Because the split comes in, and I really should know this as an Adelaide Footy League broadcaster, but I don't. So how does the split work?
Well, we'll play the bottom 4 sides, so there'll be a bottom 4, and then the top 4 will play each other off. So yeah, you'll play 3 extra games. So it's looking likely we'll play Flinders again at Flinders, potentially Hackham at Hackham, and West Croydon again. So Mitchell Park is the final game of the round system, and then we'll go into the split. So we're not too far away from season's end and finals footy in Div 7.
100%. I'm sure Smithfield are looking forward to it.
Some anyway.
Well, yeah. For some in Div 7, there's some finals footy that's going to be played. It must only be the top 2 at the end of that end up going to the grand final, because your final series, your finals are scheduled for the weekend. I think it's the weekend of the semi-final up here in Broken Hill, so it's massively before the rest of the competition.
Yeah, certainly. I'm not sure what the go is, but definitely the season is ending quite short, isn't it? We've only got 4 games left, and we're only halfway through July. So we'll be well done before the end of August. We'll be done by midway of August, and then obviously gets into finals then. So that could be due to the early finish up. Sorry.
Well, there we go. What we'll do is we'll roll into bullseye, then we'll roll into Ken.
Yes.
And we should have led with Ken off the top, but I wanted to make fun of Zach first and foremost, so that was important. Jay, good to see it. Does Jay have a new Twitter? Does Jay have a new account every week? Because it's just said first time chat. It's certainly not Jay's first chat.
No, it might be different. Nah, it'll be Caddy for sure.
All right. Well, look, I did say we would let people in the stream. So Zach, do you wanna let's do that in half an hour. We'll have a chat to Jay.
Yes, let's do it. He sounds pretty keen today, so we shall get him on and see what he's got to say. Should be good.
All right. Well, I'll put the screws to him. Rightio, here we go. Bullseye. Let's do this.
Yes.
1. Ken Hinkley will be Tasmania's first premiership coach.
Oh. Bullseye.
Bullseye. I was going to say it's good off the top. It's good off the top.
It's good off the top. It's a perfect segue into today's news and Ken Hinkley, but I think he will. I think he'll be there for a little while, and I'm not giving it too long. I'm giving within 5-6 years, Tassie will be a powerhouse of the competition. And yeah, it won't take them long. It won't take them as long as what the Giants did or Gold Coast coming into the competition. the support they've gotten already. Initially signed up, 200,000 members or fans, and we'll get a final rating on that when they officially come out. But just the support they're getting at VFL level as well. There's going to be a whole state behind them, so I don't see any reason why. And I've always been a big fan of Ken Hinkley, to be honest. He hasn't taken a side, to a grand final AFL level as yet in his 13 years at Port Adelaide. But he got close. Probably unlucky in 2020 as well, falling short by just 6 points. But
2014 too.
that was in the midst of a Richmond dynasty as well. So I think he's the man, and I think we'll touch on it a bit later. But I think he's absolutely the right man over Longmire and Buckley. I think he just suits the family vibe that Tassie give off. And I'm not giving it too long until Tassie really get going in this competition.
Yeah, just real quickly before I defend that as well. Jaden, good to see you again, mate. He's written lads in the chat, and Angus Irwin as well. What's happening, boys? Not a lot. We're just midway through bullseye, so you've joined at a good time.
Yes.
My response: this was hard to come up with, which makes me think he's a pretty good chance at winning a premiership. In all honesty, Ken Hinkley. He's got experience. He's gonna have the list at some point. You would imagine. It's got to be a 4-5 year plan for him to be able to.
Oh, definitely.
To be able to sort of do it. It's not going to be no success in 18 months and see you later. I think it depends on who Tasmania sign, whether or not that's day cost, whether or not they go with someone else. There's some Tasmanian lads that are running around that'd be very handy to get into the lineup. Apparently, there's already 2. I think one of them, the rumor was that it's Ryan Mansell from Richmond. He's not going to move the needle 100% in the right direction. He's not a
good role piece, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he could be a good signing, but I haven't really seen a lot of him from I haven't really seen a lot of him at Richmond, to be honest. And getting in that Richmond team is probably one of the easiest teams to get into in the AFL, given their injury crisis. And he doesn't really stand up. He's not really. I don't know. He's not going to move the needle. He's not a premiership. He's not a premiership piece. No premiership teams looking at him and going, "Oh, we need to get him in there because he's the difference for us." Hopefully I'm wrong, and he's the captain. But I think it depends on the players, and I'm not sure whether or not there's going to be a whole lot of players 25, 26 that are going to want to move to Tasmania and disrupt their legacies. One's Dacos, but here's a question. It was actually the 5th option. Does Dacos is on track to be the greatest Collingwood player that's ever pulled on that shirt? I think,
and one of the greatest to play the game in itself as well. So
yeah. Does he destroy his legacy he's going to build at Collingwood to go and play for Tasmania?
Oh, I don't think it'd be destroying his personal brand. Maybe you're right, his legacy within the Collingwood Football Club, but he's going to be one of the game's greats. And they've just signed a great coach in Ken Hinkley, in my opinion. Always been a huge fan of Ken. And I just love what they're building at Tassie. It seems professional. It's been built up. It's not just out of the blue. It's been years in the making for Tassie. They're going to have a whole state behind them, something you don't really have in the AFL at the moment, do you? I mean, you have 2 Adelaide teams, 2 Western Australian teams, 2 up on the Gold Coast, and 2 through Sydney, and then of course heavily saturated in Melbourne. So you don't really have that one state, one team mantra that we're seeing with Tasmania coming into the competition. So for that reason being, I'm quite bullish on what Tassie can do and what they can bring in. And I think they'll bring in guys of a Dacos-esque and really accelerate their, introduction in the competition.
Yeah, I don't know whether it'll be him, but it'll be someone.
No.
It'll
be someone of his esque.
They'll get a big star. They will. They'll get
a Tom Green potentially.
Yeah, a Tom Green. That's a great shout. I'm just trying to think. There's not too many born and bred Tasmanians that are.
Alex Pearce is another one to.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Extend his back end of his career, and really, he's a natural born Tasmanian. So, wouldn't he love the opportunity to go down there? He's been linked to sign and then captain the side as well. So, wouldn't that be a great career achievement if he can, especially if he can get a premiership this year with Fremantle? Wouldn't that be a story to go down to Tassie in 2028, captain your home state for the next 3-4 years and get them best prepared to winning a grand final?
Would it? Yeah, again, that would be that would be one of those fairy tale stories almost that sort of bob up. I'm just trying to think of another one. There's plenty. There's plenty. The Leo Barry moment, for example, that was a pretty good fairy tale. Do you want to know what the other options were for bullseye?
Yeah, we have to go through the next four.
Yep. So the last one, which we'll start with, was the Dacos one. Nick Dacos is on track to be Collingwood's greatest ever footballer, and should turn down the money on offer at Tasmania.
I'll answer the first part. Necessarily don't think you should. Sorry, the second part. I don't think you should knock back the offer at all. I think good money is going to come his way. I've been down to Tassie. Just from a
Oh,
lifestyle point of view, it seems like a great place to go and live and bring up a family. So, potentially that's what he's looking to do in his later part of his career. It'd be a great thing. But yeah, we'll wait and see.
the other options were two. Obviously, you would have seen bits and pieces of the World Cup floating around today.
Yes.
Yes.
Watched a little bit of this morning before I headed off to work, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, I didn't. Now this is wild. Now I've called a mate who's a massive Messi fan, so I've got notes, but I'm worried they're from a little bit of an Argentina sort of skew. Shout out to
Mm,
Ashnell, who I'm sure will be watching along. Um, Option two was Spain will win the 2030 World Cup. I can't imagine that would have made you buy it at all.
no,
Nah, cool. Number three, Smithfield should get their own division next year. I'm calling it Div 8 in the Adelaide Footy League, Smithfield only.
that's a bit disrespectful, isn't it? To the Smithfield people.
Well,
Come on now.
I'm just saying, you talked a big
We're not,
game.
we're not looking. We're not looking to go down. We're looking to go up. So
Well, I'm just saying,
certainly not.
I think it should be you against your reserves each week.
Yeah,
And number four, and a serious option, Sydney can't win a flag, and Jaden's already on me. That's crazy. Look, Jade.
yeah,
Well, again,
yeah.
half an hour, mate. What's that? 15 minutes now? 20 minutes?
Yeah,
You'll
have
be
your
able to come
say.
on and
Have your
abuse me
say.
if you want.
Let him have it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
on that Sydney point, certainly not. Their midfield is full of names, full of household names, and every time they come up against a contender, they get beaten badly in that area again on the night. Plus minus 13 clearances, minus 17 contested possession, and similar numbers against Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. So, big concern for a midfield that is made up of absolute stars, and they're just not getting it done at all, and costing their side wins.
I'm worried I've alienated a large portion of our audience here. Angus has
Yeah,
just
that was a
texted in as
bad
well.
move. You should have probably
Too
left that one
far,
out.
Lockie.
Yeah.
Look, boys, great opportunity tonight is to come on and just absolutely let me have it.
Mm.
I played one under 12 game for West Adelaide. That's as far as my career went. So use that ammunition, write it down. I'm sure there's
We might,
enough.
we might have to get you down for a game and see how really
Oh,
good you
mate,
are.
you don't want that. I'll run away from the ball.
Yeah, okay, maybe not then.
Yeah, look, I'm again happy to call it whenever you guys need to. I'm very happy on that side of the bench, but there'll be no marquee signings with my name on it, unfortunately. There,
Shame.
Zach, I want to start Sunday afternoon because I was the only person I think in Australia
Mm.
that saw this coming. I was the only person in Australia that believed in my man Dean Solomon. They got it done. Yes, it was lucky. Yes, it was scrappy. But by God, did I believe in what he's doing, Dean Solomon, and it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and it was down to structure in the end, and they brought their effort. Their pressure factor was the best for their season and their best for some time, sitting around 190 for majority of the game, which is a pretty good pressure factor. They were plus 13 in clearances as well. Were the Bombers against the Giants side, who have some stars still in there running around. No Tom Green, but you've still got Finn Callahan and
Mm.
guys like that running around in that midfield. So very disappointing day for the Giants, but could have been a lot different. And the reason I say lucky is Jake Stringer, quite the opposite of about a fortnight ago, 3 weeks ago, where he boots 7.
Mm.
Instead, he kicks 0-7, and the Giants lose by a handful of points. So could have been a lot different, but again, the Giants are struggling against bad sides, and they've beaten Geelongs, they've beaten Fremantles this year, they've beaten Melbourne this year, but they've struggled against St Kilda, lost to them twice. West Coast lost, so can't quite get it done against lesser teams. But when their best is when they play their best footy, certainly hard to beat. But their worst footy is among the worst in the competition at the moment. So, and at risk of not making, the wild card round.
Yeah, they are. I mean, if they keep losing teams like Essendon, they'll really struggle. Just a little bit of injury concern as well. Nick Bryan for the Bombers, he went out pretty late in the
Yes.
contest, it seems, with an injury.
And
Dyson
he was having a
Sharp,
game.
SA's own mate, rising star.
Yes, rising star.
Hmm.
Huge. He's going to be. There's a little bit of talk, a little bit of chatter after the game in the media landscape that caught a little bit of his post game interview, and they were had quite raps on the kid, saying he could be the potential future captain of the Essendon Bombers. Obviously, grew up an Essendon supporter, did Dyson Sharp, but probably had one of his best games of his career to date. So, deserving winner of the Rising Star, and not just him that got the job done. It was Farrow as well in the midfield there as well. So, some young, green shoots coming through for the Bombers at the moment, but still a long way off the mark of the Bombers.
My man who's been there for a while. He's, I think, a six-time Crichton medal winner. One
Yes.
goal for him, 35 disposals. Zach Merritt. Look, we'll talk about how good he is because he was brilliant, but he's got to go. I think he's out.
Yeah, well, certainly. It was a game that he needed to. I mean, we spoke a little bit about him last week in terms of his values. Certainly dropped off for mine anyway. From the three first rounders that Hawthorn were offering him up last season. Back to some of his better footy on the weekend, but we're going to have to start seeing that a little bit more consistently. Clearly, when he plays that sort of caliber of footy, it goes a long way to his side winning. So if you're able to add that to Hawthorn as well, it is a scary proposition.
100%. You think it'll be the Hawks for Merritt?
I don't see anyone else really in the realm. There might be a bit of maybe potential flight risk now with Merritt as well. So I think Hawthorn are the favourites to land him.
Geelong and the Saints. That was the Thursday night game. St
Mm.
Kilda were really never in it. Geelong kicked 4 goals in the first term, and that was basically all she wrote. They get the job done 15-12, 102. 11-9, 75. Zach, your thoughts, and then I'll finish with mine and we'll move on.
Yeah, well, to your point, Geelong were too good in the end. There was moments where you thought St Kilda were, making a game of it, but then they quickly shut that down. It's really Nass and Wilkie or bust, isn't it, for the St Kilda Footy Club? There's not much else going for him. I thought Ryan Marshall was exceptional. Showed he is the number one ruck and should be a number one ruck at an AFL side. Obviously, with Tom De Koning out in recent weeks, he's had a couple of his highest rated games for the year. 30 touches, 26 of those were contested, 10 score involvements for a ruckman and a goal. Impressive numbers from Ryan Marshall.
Yeah, just on Rowan Marshall, I was watching Ross's press conference afterwards because he's always good fun to have a. It's funny when it's not you. It's really
Yes.
funny when it's not you. When it is you, it's still funny, but you shouldn't laugh. So because he'll smell blood in the water. Ross is a good guy. The the comments around Rowan Marshall and the media's making it up. The media's making it up. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I don't have any read on the situation, but Rowan Marshall wants to be a number one ruck. He can't do that with Tom De Koning at St Kilda.
No, certainly not. And clearly, he's a number one ruck. He could be, with those numbers, a top five ruck in the competition. He has been in recent years gone by. He'd be a good get for anyone around the league at the moment. If he was to exit, obviously he tried, to get out to Geelong last year, and that'd be the perfect fit for Geelong. To be honest, they haven't had a ruck in the whole time I've been alive, really. So for them,
No, put some respect on my man Reece Stanley.
yeah, sorry, I forgot about Reece Stanley, the goat. Anyway, but if you can add that to Geelong, again they rise up again. So and exactly what they need. So that could be another potential. Maybe some other teams like the Giants, struggling there a little bit, you could say. But I'd like to see him go because clearly, with the money that Tom De Koning is on, he's there for centre bounces, and he's there to be the number one ruck. And we've seen with Ryan Marshall, when he's the number one guy, he plays exceptional footy.
Is it a little bit of 2 steps forward, 1 step back for St Kilda though? Going and getting Tom on ridiculous money, and then you lose a guy who's probably inside St Kilda's best 5 players, I'd say, maybe
Yeah,
best 10 players. It's a little bit 2 step forward, one step back. Marshall to the Eags, surely. Jaden, I've seen
there's
that on
another team as
Instagram.
well.
That's not happening.
it's another team that lacks a ruckman as well, and it could really a team on the rise. I'm really keen to speak about West Coast
Mm.
as we go through the show. But another a potential suitor. Like I said before, I think he could go to every team in the comp at the moment and make them better. Even look at the lines. I mean, Darcy Fort's the number one ruck at the moment, so
Mm.
doing the job. But if you add Ron Marshall to that mix, again, just makes them better. So he'd do that to most teams in the competition. So aside from probably Melbourne and Sydney at the moment, and Fremantle, of course, Jackson, Grundy, and Gawn.
St Kilda's salary cap has to be tight. Now I know they came out and they said nah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But they're not in a Lockie Neal, even though he'd be a pretty good fit. Pulled out a leak of Lear despite spending the best part of 2 years chasing him.
Mm.
That to me screams money problem. Should St Kilda go and shop Rowan Marshall at these clubs? Just dump him on the doorstep. Not necessarily, just sort of slip a letter under the door and let him know for the right price he is available.
Oh, certainly. If he's certainly their number two guy. But if he's not your number one, Tom De Koning, you clearly see as your future number one, or right as now your number one, then definitely. If you can alleviate some of that, cap space, still playing great footy, you want to keep him. But if you've got Tom De Koning in for a reason, you're going to play him as your number one ruck anyway, aren't you? So why not get rid of Rowan Marshall, who can go forward, but probably not as influential up on the forward half of the ground. So certainly alleviate some cap space with that move, and probably get a bit in return for a guy like Rowan Marshall, who some will see as playing really good footy when he is the number one man.
Guys, 10 minutes and we'll open up the stream with a
Yes.
little bit of a different vibe. So if you got a camera, you don't want to swear, and even if you don't have a microphone, get in here, get involved. Smithfield players are encouraged to get in. I want to ask you some questions around what happened on Saturday. I want to ask you some questions around what happened the previous Saturday after that and what the plans are for next year. Zach, let's go Collingwood Carlton MCG 14 6 90 10 9 69. You said Carlton would win. I told you it's over. Once they've lost, they were going to fall down the slope.
And you're correct. And to your credit, I think Carlton have fallen off a little bit in terms of just watching the game, their forward execution going forward, again, returning to the way where they just bomb it forward, put it on packs and don't really get that build up. They tried a little bit late in the game, but, Collingwood got a bit of a head start, a 3-goal start to the game, and really never looked back. Carlton were in it at stages, but Nick Dacos really controlled the game for majority, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's a superstar, isn't he? Let's go North Melbourne. Melbourne, that one was at Marvel Stadium, 11-10 at 76, 13-14, 92. North Melbourne, there's a few clubs that are probably pretty lucky St Kilda lost, and St Kilda are pretty lucky there's a few clubs that lost in a weird sort of merry-go-round way. Still in the hunt for finals wildcard weekend.
Yeah, certainly. Again, North Melbourne can't get it done against the top 10 side. They're going to have to do it over the next month to even think about making the top 10, with all those teams remaining sitting inside the top 10 as we speak. So a tough month coming up for the Roos. And again, showed some promising footy in that first half. Looked like they were controlling the game. And then after half time, they struggled to score. I think they kicked 2 or 3 goals in the second half. And go down by 3 after having a decent margin in that first half. So again, another winnable game that they've completely dropped and lost quite badly in the end.
Here's a question: top 9 teams have 40 points and above. The Saints are 10th; they've got 32. Followed by the Giants, Carlton, North Melbourne, Gold Coast, who lost a game against the Doggies they really didn't need to. They've got 28 points. Port Adelaide 24. They're probably too far back.
Yes.
Out of those 14, and I'll throw the Suns in there, but let's be honest, Dimmer was probably right last week when he said finals are off the cards. So out of those 4 to 5 teams, St Kilda, GWS, Carlton, North Melbourne, and Gold Coast, who is making the wild card weekend? Who's that final team that's going to be slipping into 10th?
Well, St Kilda and the Giants are probably the obvious ones. I think St Kilda, their best between their worst is probably a little bit closer than the Giants at the moment. We've seen, and we talked about the Giants losing to teams. They've lost to St Kilda twice, for instance, lost to West Coast, but they've beaten Fremantle, they've beaten Geelong, they've beaten Melbourne, sides entrenched in that top 4. So you certainly wouldn't want to catch the Giants in a wild card fixture if you're that, sixth, seventh place side playing at home. The Giants got nothing to lose. If they bring their best, they're a very, very hard side to beat. But both sides are, a long way off ninth, aren't they, anyway? So really, the wild card was brought in to, I guess, make the end of the season a little bit closer. But now we've only got those 4 or 5 teams vying for one spot, don't we? Essentially, because they're already a game and a half outside ninth. So there's only one spot really left that can be poached, I think.
Do you think it's worked the wild card round? Because here's the situation without it. With it, it's St Kilda, GWS, Carlton, North Melbourne, and to a lesser extent Gold Coast, and to a really lesser extent Port Adelaide, all fighting over one spot. That's what is 10th. Go up the other way, it's Geelong fighting Collingwood, Western Bulldogs, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane for spots inside the top eight. That's still going to happen. Jay's written 6-7. That's great. Thank you. Really appreciate that one there, Jay.
No.
Caddy, you're too old to be acting like this. Thank God. Squire in the chat, giving me something. So yeah,
no,
that's
like
good.
For sure. I like the second option. You mentioned those teams. Right now, with 4 or 5 weeks to go, you'd prefer Collingwood, Bulldogs, Melbourne, Crows, Geelong, St Kilda Giants fighting for that 8th, 7th spot, wouldn't you? Really, opposed to those 4 or 5 teams, lesser teams fighting for a 10th spot. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And that 10th spot, really, if it's going to be St Kilda, if it's going to be the Giants, potentially Carlton still with a little bit of hope. Are they really going to go away from home and beat maybe an Adelaide Crows, a Melbourne side, Geelong's even? It's going to be very, very tough, isn't it? So I definitely like option B and seeing that top 8 and imagine seeing, Geelong fighting for a spot in the finals.
Does it change the situation that with it being a top 10 spot, A and B are now happening simultaneously? So you're gonna have the teams fighting for 10th, but there's also now on top of that teams fighting for 6th, 5th, 4th, sort of trying to sort themselves out as well. Does that change your opinion at all, or is it less important because they're all going to play finals?
I think it's less important, and you get a pretty relatively easy home final draw, don't you? If you do finish 5th or 6th, anyway, opposed to potentially playing 8th in that 5th spot, don't you? So I think it's between obviously you want to make the top 4 and then want to make that sort of 10 to 8 region as well. And anything in between that, I think, is quite beneficial. Obviously, you can go out straight away and get eliminated, but I don't think there's as much riding on it as fighting for spots 5th, 6th as it is, fighting for that top 8 spot.
I'm a Saints fan. I hope the Saints make it. But if I just take off my St Kilda Gala glasses and look at it from a neutral perspective, God, I hope GWS finish 10th. Because they're the only team that could really do some damage.
Oh, certainly. And they're a team that probably won't get all the way and win from 10th, but certainly make you earn it. And they're going to be, traveling away from home as well, what they're used to doing. They don't mind playing in hostile grounds. And they've beaten top 10 teams. They've beaten top 4 teams. So that would be a concern for any team, coming up against them. Pressure's not on the Giants. It's on, the home team. It could be an Adelaide Crows who, finish 5th and play the lowest remaining seed in that wild card spot. So, as a Crows fans, definitely I wouldn't want to see the Giants come our way week 1 of the finals.
It'll be very exciting. St Kilda haven't beaten a top 10 team all year. Carlton haven't beaten a top 10.
1 of 4 teams not to.
Sorry?
1 of 4 teams not to.
Yeah,
North Melbourne included in that.
Yeah, that's a wild statement for the Hawks as well, and something concerning going into finals. Carlton are the other one, and the last one, do you know who that is?
I believe it's Collingwood.
Collingwood, yeah. See, very concerning. So Collingwood, Hawthorn going to play finals. St Kilda, Carlton, one of them, potentially none of them, but one of them will. It's concerning for those teams that are going to be up against top 4 teams to get to the finals. We'll very quickly touch on the rest of the games. Hawthorn bully Richmond 18-14, 1-2-2, 6-16, 52. Richmond need to go back and kick some goals at training, apparently. Yeah,
well, they're a long way away from it. They're now sitting 18th and could cop another wooden spoon, the Tigers. So, there's a little bit of green shoots for them. We obviously haven't seen, their youngsters play really at all to date. Lawler was back for his first game in a little while, but still they're a very, very long way off it. And again, Hawthorn beating up on teams they should.
Gold Coast Western Bulldogs 1914 68 11 11 77. Your thoughts?
They're 16th year in the competition, and this is probably their worst season to date. I feel, in terms of importance, expectation, they've certainly let themselves down, and it's their better players that are letting themselves down. I mean, Matt Rao was a Brownlow medalist, albeit not a great Brownlow medalist last year, but still won the Brownlow. Noah Anderson had a fantastic year last year. He was nowhere to be seen on the weekend and hasn't been for weeks. They won the clearance battle just, but away from stoppage, Bontempelli tore him to shreds. Even Richards to an extent, who sat off majority of the first term. So they've got huge concerns, the Gold Coast, and Ben King is their really only tall presence up forward, isn't he? Jed Walter obviously coming through, but he's a bit more of a hybrid. But Ben King's going to be out the door soon on his way to Hawthorn. So there's some big concerns down there at the Gold Coast Suns at the moment.
Yeah, there is. Obviously, King out the door, 2 Hawks, probably means Mitch Lewis has to find a new home. Essendon,
And Mitch
Collingwood.
Lewis just had a legacy game on the weekend in Mitch Lewis, but I've liked the work of Mitch Lewis over his career. Obviously been quite injury rattled, but he's quite a good link man. Guts up the ground, takes big marks up the ground, and then spits forward as well, and it allows guys like Gunston at the moment to relish and Marbiel Chol up forward. So I think with Ben King coming in, you'd like to keep Mitch Lewis for that role and allow Ben King to stay deep like he has been for his whole career and what he's really only good at.
Boys, we've got 3 more games to talk about. We will talk about them, but I did promise 10 minutes, so have at it. You should be able to get into the meat, which could be good fun, and it should just let you in. So I'm not gonna have any control over who comes into this thing. If you want in, come in. In the meantime, we'll talk West Coast Brisbane 10-9, 69, 13-15, 93. Not a bad effort from the Lions, just not quite good enough.
Yeah, the Eagles rather, but no, you're right. I thought the Eagles got out the blocks fast, didn't they? I said from the top of the show, I'm really keen to talk about the Eagles at the moment. I like what they're doing. They've obviously added, a key piece in Starcevic. Obviously, he's probably not going to be there for their next premiership side, but if they keep Harley Reid, if they keep Willem Dersma in that midfield, if they keep Job Shanahan in that forward line, who's probably in the next 3-4 years just going to be as important to their makeup of their side and their structure as what Harley Reid is to them at the moment. So huge call, but I like the work of Job Shanahan. Seriously, he flies at the footy, kicks quite accurately in front of goal. So I've been impressed with the Eagles. They've been building without winning games, have the Eagles, and I'm looking forward to the reign of the season and seeing where the Eagles finish up.
Yeah, they're a team. They're a team that doesn't have a low ceiling. They're a team that could really do anything, the Eagles, and there's no real, I guess, kind of question marks around whether or not those players are going to stay. Maybe in the longer term, but in the shorter term, Harley Reid's locked in, Willem Dersma's locked in, Joe Shanahan's locked in.
Who gives you more excitement? Who gives you more excitement over the next, 5 years? Obviously, the Gold Coast Suns have established themselves a little bit. Obviously, got a great list, but in terms of where they could be in the next 5 years, is it West Coast or is it the Gold Coast Suns?
It's close, but I think I'd rather be West Coast.
I think I would be. I was thinking this, just today. So, isn't that a huge turnaround? I mean, premiership favourites at the start of the year, the Gold Coast Suns, and if they lose a couple of key guys in Ben King and Bailey Humphrey, it's not a place that easily attracts good talent, is it? You sort of get drafted there and try and get them to stay. Obviously, Petrarca went up there this year, and obviously at the start, Gary Ablett went up there. But West Coast have always been a big club. They have 100,000 members, and when they're flying, absolutely flying, why wouldn't you want to live in Perth and play for them? So, keen to see where the Eagles get to in 5 years, opposed to Gold Coast.
Yeah, it'll be something interesting to watch. Of course, you'll be able to follow along each and every Monday night with us. Hopefully, at least. Let's talk Adelaide. Let's talk Port. We'll go to the Crows, and a very, very happy man on Friday night. Zaki, 10-11-71. That was the Swans. Not good enough. 13,987. That's a big scalp for Adelaide.
Huge scout. Probably their, we've seen some big wins for Adelaide, in particular some last year, on their record to, finishing on top of the ladder. But, in the Matty Nix era, I think this is their best win since the 2017 prelim final. In my opinion, I thought what they did to the Swans is exactly what they did the week before. So we're starting to see some, continuity against really good midfields. The Suns had, Rao, Anderson, Petrarca. The Swans, no easy beats in there as well in Heaney, Goulden. Jordan gets the tagging job. Grundy, Chad Warner as well, who started the game on fire. But yeah, impressive win, plus 13 in the clearances, plus 17 in contested possession. And up forward again, Fogarty was huge. Unfortunately, and he's a little bit of a purple patch has come to an end. His suspension upheld at the tribunal, but disappointing. I wouldn't like to see that get 3 weeks anywhere else, but unfortunately, he's rubbed out.
Yeah, he is indeed.
Are they just on the Crows? Are they a genuine? It's
That
obviously a
was going to
biased
be my
opinion.
question to you, to be honest. So
Well,
great one thing.
that's why I wanted to ask you because it's a bit of a biased opinion. But by numbers, are they now a serious premiership threat? I mean, maybe not to win it.
That's a
Maybe not to
horrible
win it.
answer to that question. But my answer to that is maybe. Are they gonna win it? No, because it's Fremantle's to win.
Have they closed the gap substantially to Brisbane, Fremantle, Hawthorn?
I still think it'll be Fremantle Hawthorn. Maybe it won't be Fremantle Hawthorn though, because that statistic around the Hawks is pretty damning. So it's not going to be
Yes.
Fremantle Sydney, Fremantle Brisbane. Yeah, if the Lions can keep it together, but surely at some point playing 3 final series in a row right to the line, surely that has to play with your body at some point. I think I think they are looking around looking at the teams around them. I think it's Fremantle's to lose, and then it's daylight. Geelong you could throw in there as well. They were good against the Saints, but again it was St Kilda, a team that's not going to
Mm.
challenge for a flag for at least another couple, you would think. Um, yeah, I don't see a reason why the Crows couldn't win it. They've got finals experience now. That was the number one thing that held them back last year. They peaked a little bit too early. They're peaking at the right time. I don't think there's a reason the Crows can't do it.
Yeah, and opposed to last year, I'll just say this: opposed to last year, there's more upside in their game this time this year than it was, this time last year. I think Riley Thilthorpe hasn't had a great season to date in terms of kicking goals, but what he's doing away from that in terms of crashing packs, he's still having a great season. But if he can get him up and firing and kicking 3-4 goals a week, that'll go a long way. Isaac Rankin's had a big couple of weeks. Jordan Dawson wasn't at his absolute clinical best on the weekend, so still plenty of upside there for the Adelaide Crows. I think Jordan Butts should come back as well. But James Borlase, what he's doing at the moment, can't be understated. Kept Charlie Kerner to 0 goals and pretty well just as many touches. So fantastic effort for a guy who's out of contract.
Yeah, it was. It was a nice effort. You're not wrong. Yeah, just on Borlase. Where's he playing next year? Do you still think it's the Crows?
I think it's the Crows, and purely on the fact that the footy he's playing at the moment, he's probably now. He's certainly the number 3 guy, and he's pushing Butts for that number 2 spot behind Mark Keane, I think. So that goes a long way. He wants to stay in Adelaide. We've seen him come out and say that. So in terms of the recent weeks, so certainly I think he stays in Adelaide.
I'm going to throw another team at you for premiership conversation.
Mm.
The Demons. Now I've been hot on them all year. Are they a genuine premiership threat?
Oh, they certainly are, and the grand final runs through the MCG pretty well. The whole final series does as well. So they haven't lost there this year to date in about 11, 12 games. So that's quite a good sample size, isn't it? And beating some good teams while doing that. So certainly for that reason, and that reason being, they certainly can be a huge premiership threat.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree with you. To be honest with you, I think this is a genuine open race. It's Fremantle's to lose. It has been Fremantle's to lose since that game against Geelong. It'll be very interesting to see whether or not they're able to sort of cling on. They've had that loss they sort of needed. There's one more team to go through. Fremantle, they get the job done. 15-13, 103, 11-9, 75. It wasn't convincing though for a little period there. Port were plucky.
Oh, certainly. And it's only the second time this year that Port have conceded more than 100 points. So clearly they've now got a great identity under coach Josh Carr in his first season, which is fantastic. It gives, as an outsider, I'm not a huge fan of Port Adelaide, but it gives me a lot of hope in Port Adelaide, moving forward, and having a real, say on the competition. Obviously, you might see exit in Butters next year, but with that defensive profile, only the second time, I'll repeat it, the second time this year, they've conceded 100 points or more, and it was just only a handful of points over against the best side in the competition, and they led the majority of this game, a large part of this game, and led by as much as 20 plus. So, really impressed with what Port Adelaide are able to do. Probably shouldn't be in 15th, 16th spot with a few games not going their way. So, I think it's been a positive season for Port Adelaide, I think.
With Ken going to Tasmania, is there a chance Butters resigns for one with the prize idea of just getting out of Port Adelaide for Tasmania when they come into the competition?
Well, much like me, Zach Butter's a huge fan of Ken Hinkley, as we know. But I don't think Port Adelaide are letting that happen either, are they? They're not going to let him sign a 1 year. And then I'm going to think about my decision next year. They've been going through it for the best part of 18 months. If he ends up wanting to go, now's the time for Zach Butters to go. So, probably a little bit of bad timing. Would he have gone to Tasmania hypothetically?
Yeah.
You think
Almost without doubt, yes.
Over the Western Bulldogs or
I think
Richmond, who are throwing ridiculous money?
I think the Dogs rumour was started because Ken Hinkley was supposed to go there. I think that's where that rumour came from. So I think that's always been tied back to Ken. So now that Ken Hinkley is the coach, hypothetically, if Tasmania were coming in 2027, not 2028, I think it is, they're coming in now, then all of a sudden, he has this opportunity to be that marquee player we were talking about before. He has that opportunity to be Dacos, because they've got a lot of money in Tasmania, but they ain't got enough money for Dacos and for Butters.
No.
And they're going to want to be stars. They're going to want to be the guys that lead it. They've probably got enough money for one of those two and Alex Pearce. And then you probably make Pearce the captain unless they stipulate they want to be in their contract. But I don't know. I don't think that's neither here nor there for those boys. I think hypothetically, if Tasmania are coming in 2027, Zach Butters is almost a Tasmanian player as of today.
Okay, so that changes dramatically. Obviously, they're not. They're coming in 28. So probably poor timing.
Does he move to a club for a year and then get out? Does he go and take a bag of cash at Richmond and then get out?
I don't think that's possible, really.
For
mine, that'd be a bad look anyway. So I don't see Zach Butters doing that. No.
Does he go and play VFL at Tasmania for a year?
No. That's out of the question as well, I think.
That's out of the question. Yeah, that's a silly question, but just thought I'd ask it to see whether or not they'd generate any discussion. Boys, is that link working or not? Because there were a few boys that were keen to come on, and now we've opened up the chat, and it's just been me and Zach again. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy talking to Zachy. Oh, here we go. We go. Is there a man waiting to come in? Admit a guest. Yeah, all right. Come on in then, Jaden.
Oh, he's in.
He's in, Jaden. Mate, how are you?
How are we?
Oh, boys, it's good.
Hi, Press in the background. Yeah, get around it. How good?
Oh, boys, welcome to the stream. What are your thoughts so far?
Hey, no, you gotta run there. Yeah, good. No, everything's been good so far. I'm sorry, I took forever at this upload speed. This internet's doing my head in, I can't lie. But we're here.
I'm turning off. Oh no, don't leave, Squire. Get in here.
He's a hater. He's a hater.
He is. He's hating on you, boys.
He always has.
Oh, Jade, what happened on Saturday, mate? I've got to put the screws to you because you were talking a lot of confidence, and then all of a sudden it really fell apart.
In what instance? AFL or
it's Smithfield.
Oh, look, it's just one of those days, It's been like that for the last 16 weeks, but look, it was just after half time we just didn't show up. To be honest with you.
Disappointing. Caddy's fault on Saturday. So, Squire.
Here he goes. He wasn't speaking.
He goes again. No, he doesn't stop, this guy.
Oh, He's coming in. Look, Jack, you've got to come into the stream, I think, mate. And you're in Zach's house. You can basically just walk in and get involved on Zach's computer. You don't even need to click the link.
Look, my room's off limits, mate, at the moment. So
my room's off limits. Zach's not letting him in, so you will have to click the link. Look, Jaden, what happened to your boys on the weekend? What do you make of them AFL wise?
Oh, look, in all seriousness, Zach can vouch to this. I thought we were getting beaten by 200. So, in all seriousness, I didn't get to watch it, and I still haven't watched it, in all honesty. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, to only lose by 30 against, arguably your premiership favourites, and with the Sandful side, I'll take that.
I'll take that, he says. Yeah, look, it was a pretty good effort. I didn't see a whole lot of it. I saw bits and pieces. But yeah, you must have been delighted. Now, Zach Butters, you might be the only man in Australia that still thinks he's staying. Have you come around to the fact he's going to be going, Jaden?
No, not a chance. No, it's making me so sad.
Even with Kenny in Tasmania, you don't think he's going to try and get out in 12 months?
He's gone. He really is gone, isn't he?
Where to, Jaden? Where are you going to be not looking forward to watching him next year?
Well, it's weird because, as I've said before, I love the doggies, something about him. So I hope he goes there, and I'm fine with that. But if he goes he cannot go to Geelong. Otherwise, I'll just stop watching footy. He can't do it, can he?
No,
but I saw that
we can't have that. That'll be disgusting.
Richmond are the favourites at the moment, aren't they?
They are, yeah. That $2.2 million deal over 8 years is very, very convincing. That
is true. Very true.
A lot of money. What would you do with $2 million if you were getting $2 million a year, Jade?
Oh, that's a dangerous question.
All right. Let's roll on, fellas. You're in this now as well, Jaden. So I hope you got your power rankings ready. Zachy, you go first.
Let me get the ladder up.
All right, let him get a ladder up. Zachy, you go first. Then we'll go to Jaden. Then I'll bring it home.
Oh, sounds good. Right. A little bit of change this week, just a little bit. In 5, I got Melbourne. I think they slid a little bit down from last week, just because I wanted to put my boys, the Adelaide Crows, at 4. After their best win, since 2017, they're in 4. They rate highly in defense. They rate highly in offense as well over the last few weeks as well. So they're in at 4. Hawthorn stay around the mark for mine in 3. And Brisbane shoot into my top 5 for the first time in a little while, all the way up to 2. So Brisbane in 2, and of course Fremantle remain at the number 1 spot.
Well, I must say that number 1's absolutely shocking. All right, Jaden, your first time, so me and Zach will not go easy on you. That's just not what we're about here. We're about brutal honesty. So go on, give us your 5.
Okay, no, you know what? I'll be honest. All right, I'll give Melbourne my 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Breezy my 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Crows 3.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
The Hawkies 2 and the Dockers 1, I think.
It's honestly not a bad list. I've just had a look. We've all got the same top 5. They're just in different orders. Mine is Adelaide, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Brisbane, Fremantle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all basically the same. Which makes for very boring. Which makes a very boring conversation because there's not a lot we can really do from here. Those 5, probably the teams that are going to be. Who's the 6th team? Who's the other team that's going to get a week off away from wild card? Is it Geelong?
Oh, not necessarily. Not a huge fan of Geelong. Obviously, Geelong are without Max Holmes and Jezza Cameron for the next month, at the very least. Could they sneak into the finals? Who knows? But I'm leaning towards the Western Bulldogs a little bit, to be honest. After the weekend's game, I had him, season predictions. I had him, almost in that top 4, going back to the very start of the year. So, in that 6th spot, I think it is the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think it's Sydney, and I don't necessarily think they'll finish 6th, but I've just noticed none of us have put him in the top 5 that we had there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so Sydney. Yeah, Sydney's my answer to that question.
To 6th?
Yeah.
Caddy?
Yeah, Caddy, go on.
I think Is it? I've got a 3-horse race
Mm.
Oh,
off
I
the
like
top of
that.
off the top of my head, and one of them I just hate to put there, but I know they're playing all right. They're a very old bunch, but I'd like to say it would be Sydney would be sixth, and I think the Doggies. But the 3 race would probably be Sydney, Doggies, and maybe the Maggies get in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. Zach doesn't rate the Magpies at all.
Which I get, but they're playing all right. Well, I did actually watch a bit of that second half of the Carlton game, and I know you said, Lockie, that they are a bit of a sinking ship, and they probably are. But when you're playing good footy, you're playing good footy. You can't help who you're going against.
Yeah.
They have the best player in the competition at the moment in Nick Dacos, so that always helps. But yeah, I don't mind that shout. They're obviously around the mark anyway. I think they're in 8th.
Which I hate. I wish they were bottom, but that's just me.
Yeah. They're around the mark anyway. So
try and keep your media hat on there, Jaden. You're a member of the media now, mate. Welcome. Yeah, I don't think any of those shouts are outrageous, to be honest with you. I still think it'll be Sydney. I think they're too strong. Collingwood will find a way to. Collingwood, I don't think have as much talent as everybody else. And you've said this, Zach, and I've slowly come around to your way of thinking, which probably means I've been spending too much time with you. But
that's pretty rough, man.
you know I love you. So yeah, I think it'll be Sydney. But that top five is genuinely any of those teams, and I'm including Adelaide in this for mine. I know they're a little bit higher on both your lists, but any of those teams could win the premiership if Fremantle stuff it up.
Who's got the strongest chance, in your opinion, out of those 5?
Away from Fremantle, because I think we're all.
Aside from Fremantle, of course.
I want to say Melbourne, but I'm going to say Brisbane.
Yeah. So I think Brisbane as well. I've always liked Hawthorn throughout for the year. In terms of their balance, I think they're the second best balanced side in the competition, where Will Day's playing and Gunston are on the same side. They're pretty well balanced across the park. With Barras and Battle down back as well, and even Blake Hardwick. So, and in big games as well, they're tough to beat. So, I'd probably say Hawthorn.
Yeah, I don't mind that shout either. Although Hawthorn, it's your own stat that you keep bringing that really does worry me. They have not been a top 10 side all year.
Yeah, look, I think in big games they'll be right, and especially at the MCG, where they probably haven't played as much in their first, couple of finals appearances since. They're big dynasty. So they'll be back at the G this year, should be anyway, with a top 4 position. So I'm giving them every chance.
Zach, I've just remembered something. Hawthorn beat Geelong on Easter Monday, so they have beaten a top 10 side.
Well, there you go. I think you brought that set up, not me.
I think you said it, and I've run with it, and then just fact checked myself, because I remember watching that game on the couch, and they beat them by a point.
Nah, see, I was a bit puzzled by it, but no, they certainly haven't, struggled against top teams, haven't they, this year? So we'll say that.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair reflection. They certainly have struggled. So have the Crows, though, going back with the exception of the last couple of weeks, but they'd beaten one top 10 side in the first 10 rounds, and it was Collingwood. So that's not necessarily anything to write home about, but they're playing better footy than they were in the first 10 weeks of the season is the other thing too.
Definitely, they're starting to play more consistently. And like I said before, there's still plenty of upside this year as opposed to it was this time last year. So for the Adelaide Crows, in terms of getting Riley Thilthorpe going, they'll get Fogarty back with a clean bill of health. We'll see 3 weeks out now. But he'll be ready to go in finals, and hopefully he can replicate what he's been doing over the last 5 weeks in a big final series. We go a long way for the Crows.
Let's talk World Cup, boys, because we should. We are a sports watch. Now, Zachy, you saw bits and pieces. Jaden, are you a big World Cup man?
Oh yeah, I'm okay. Now the Aussies are out, I didn't take much attention to be honest.
That's all right. Look, I was going to get up and watch the final, but my alarm went off at 4:30, and I went to bed at 1 o'clock after the F1. So that alarm went off, and I swiftly threw that away. So I did call a mate that I know did watch it. He gave me some notes, but they are fairly Argentinian biased because he is not a media person and cannot separate his feelings from the facts. Argentina had 0 shots and had a 0 XG after 90 minutes, which is almost unheard of with the attacking quality they've got. Spain dominated. They had 20 shots to 3 by the time the game went off, and Enzo Fernandez was sent off first. Got a second yellow. The first yellow was for dissent against the referees, which you just don't do because it opens the door for that. The second was an absolutely god awful challenge where he took someone's leg off. It should have been a straight red. It was a second yellow, and the result was the same. Both of Argentinian centre backs were taken off. They both got injuries, which meant they couldn't bring on Lautaro Martinez, and they just could not break through when Spain went up. They went up in the 108th minute through Fernando Torres. It was a lovely finish. They just could not get the job done in the end. Golden ball went to Rodri. Golden boot went to Kylian Mbappe. Golden glove was with Simeone and the FIFA young player Paul Kambarski, whose name I had written down phonetically and stuffed up anyway. So apologies to Pal there for that one. Boys, thoughts?
Yeah, well, obviously their first World Cup win since 2010. So 16 years ago now for Spain. It was impressive. I watched, probably 15 minutes of this game before I headed off to work. And you're right. There was not a lot of, attacking play, certainly from Argentina. They just couldn't quite get through, about halfway in the end. Messi was probably, not there or not impactful at all, really, going forward for Argentina. Only the 3 shots in the total of the game. So opposed to 20. Disappointing for Argentina, but Spain, clearly the better team by all tournament. Really, they only ended up 1 goal for the entirety of the series, so that's quite impressive.
Emi Martinez made 11 saves, which is ridiculous. That is unbelievable for a player that last year won the Golden Glove. Obviously lost out to Simeone this year, but this year, but it was just incredible from him in a display that will go down, despite the fact they lost the game, go down in Argentinian folklore. Enzo Fernandez probably lets his team down getting sent off, but Argentina looked a shell of themselves from all accounts as well. That's our World Cup wrap up. Formula One was good last night. I didn't see a lot of the race. I was distracted by what was going on in one of the chats I was reading. So it was good for Kimi Antonelli. He overtook Charles Leclerc at some point, went on to win the race. Charles should have had an opportunity to win. Ferrari pulled a masterclass. And I did watch NRL on the weekend as well for the first time. I'm a big fan of the 40-20 rule. I don't know how we bring that into the AFL, whether or not it's a kick inside forward 50 and it bounces once you get a shot at goal. But that was good fun on Saturday night. I watched West take on Canterbury, and I'm going on Sunday on Friday to the event to the game between the Rabbitohs and the Storm. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. What was your biggest highlight across the weekend in the NRL world?
I really liked Thursday night. I didn't see too much of the game, but Panthers Broncos, a replay of last year's grand final. Obviously, Broncos got the job done there. They got the job done again, 14-12. So I thought that Thursday night game was a real good effort as well.
Against the top side, of course. Mm-hmm. Got a tip for us? Who's winning it all in the big NRL?
Panthers.
An obvious choice.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not. Look, I learned my lesson from picking Prince Alfred to win the Div 1 grand final last year. When in doubt, go safe.
Certainly. Look, I'll throw one up there. I think the Sydney Roosters, they're thereabouts, sitting in third. Could give the Panthers a run for their money. We'll have to see.
You're a big NRL man. Did you see any of the weekend stuff there, Zach?
To be honest, I didn't. But I'm more of a big, State of Origin man. Grit my teeth into that stuff. Nathan Cleary. The best player in the world at the moment. And he's a big exponent of the 40-20, Nathan Cleary. So one of your favourites. So he's going to go a long way to obviously Penrith winning the grand final, which will be about 5 in just as many years, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, coached by his dads. We were probably all coached by our dads at some point in Auskick, but it's a bit different when you're playing for Penrith. So should be interesting to see how they go, him and Ivan. But we will move on. Is there anything we missed before the tips, Zach? Because you send out a run sheet each week. I've been checking things off, but I don't think I've missed anything.
No, I think we're all good to go. Get our tips and move on out of here.
So Zach, this week you're going to join me on the sidelines. Jaden,
right.
It's going to be Jaden's tips this week. I'm sorry there, Zach. You've been bumped. We'll get you back next week.
That's
mate.
right. It's for a good
feel free to
cause.
sing out,
Like,
though. Rightio,
Yeah.
round 20. Additional tip. Zach, I'll go to you first. Tex, surely he kicks his 700th goal this week.
Oh, has to, doesn't he?
Mhm.
Against Collingwood, Thursday Night Lights. Rested last week, has to. I think he kicks 4.
He kicks 4. There you go. So he'll be on 703. I'm looking forward to... I won't be able to get to Adelaide for that because I fly out to Sydney the next day from Broken Hill. But I am certainly going to be having a look at a pub that's going to be showing the footy because I imagine it's going to go absolutely off when he kicks his 700th goal, of course, being a Broken Hill boy. Jaden, who gets it done? Is it the Crows or is it the Pies?
I do think the Crows get it done, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as we think. I got a weird, you know what they like, the Maggies on the Thursdays and Fridays. They love it, so I don't think it's going to be as easy as we think. But I'll say, Crows by 3 goals.
Crows by 3 goals. I like it. Melbourne Geelong.
Oh, that's tough. Give me Melbourne.
Give you Melbourne. No worries. Fremantle and West Coast. It's a derby, so anything can happen.
It really, exactly right. If Prez is still hearing, then I knew I was waiting for it. Come on quickly.
We'll get Prez's tip for this one.
It's got to be the Eagles, mate.
Got to be the Eagles. All right, so Brezzy's
Eagles by
confident.
10 goals or
10 goals or
10 goals.
10 goals, you reckon? 10 goals.
10 goals for Prez. Yeah, Zachy.
Fremantle win by 100, just quietly.
Yeah, I'm there as well. Zachy, bring us home with a little bit of quietness here. Oh, hang on. Is someone else joining us very late? We've got about 5 minutes left, but we'll bring him in. Hang on a minute. Admit. Angus, how are you, mate?
Oh, Gussie.
Gussie boy.
God, Angus, you're still muted. It's like.
Oh, there he
is.
G'day, Angus. How are you, mate?
He's getting there.
He's getting there. It's like the poor man's version of the Saturday rub.
No, this is good. It's good.
Look at the head on it.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
He doesn't know what he's done. He can't hear you.
Angus, you're muted, mate. Hang on, I might have to unmute him here. Give me a second.
Yeah, it might be you're in there, Lockie.
You can't unmute someone else. No, it's Angus that's muted. I can't unmute him.
We'll get him at some stage.
We will. We'll get him at some stage. I'm sure he'll come in. We'll just sort of mess about until he gets in there. He's just woken up. Yeah, you're not wrong, Jade.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. Angus, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Yourself?
Yeah, going well. You've been enjoying the stream?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've been watching the whole time. I saw Caddy come in and I was like, I'll dust off the old computer. It hasn't been open in about, I don't know, maybe 6 months.
Oh, far out, mate. Well, it's good to have you in. Yeah, I wasn't expecting another person, so you know what? We're gonna go with Caddy, and we're gonna go with Angus's tip as well. Angus,
don't use my tips, mate. I only watch footy if I'm watching footy with the boys. So keep me out of it.
Well, then I'll ask you this question: what happened on Saturday? Because Zach talked a massive game, and you guys were up at halftime and then fell away.
To be fair, we talk a massive game every week, but we've got the players to do it. It's just, I think it's just the fact of everybody getting out in the track and being more of a team, and then it will come. But it's just maybe just be early days. We're probably a bit, over eager about this year with the players that we got in. It's just not really coming together, gelling in just yet. So I think every week we feel like we can win. It's just never turns out that way. But
what's the plan for next year? What do you need to really propel yourself up the ladder, get into Div 6 and then the higher reaches?
Commitment.
Just wanting to win and wanting to be a team. So I'll just come to training, making sure we keep the same players like back next year, not move around too many pieces. But that's up to people wanting to stay back. So can't really do nothing about that. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, we'll keep rolling on. We'll go anyone right now. I'm just gonna let anyone have a shot here. Fremantle West Coast, who gets the job done there? We're all pretty much in agreement except for President's Freo.
Yeah, I'm going West Coast.
You're going
West Coast for 5 points. Yeah.
You're just trying to reframe what I did last week.
I think they've been building. I said it earlier on. I think they've been building the last probably longer than a couple of months now, and without any wins. So give me West Coast by 5 points.
I think you're trying to do what I did with Essendon last week.
No.
All that
No.
was the fact that Dean Solomon and me have this connection being in Broken Hill. That's what that was. It was Broken Hill
No,
is built on an ancient burial ground.
Like I said, you got lucky with that one, so we'll move on.
Best tip of the year. I was the only one in Australia that called it. Carlton and Gold Coast. Boys, sing out.
Ooh. You know what? Give me Gold Coast.
Give you Gold Coast.
Oh, I'll go Carlton.
Yours Carlton?
Yeah, I'm a Carlton man. Go Carlton.
I think the loser's out of the finals race. There's my big call for that game.
Yeah, obvious one, I think.
Well, that was rude, but okay.
Sorry. I just think if obviously it's I think it'd almost be mathematically impossible, wouldn't it?
All right, Damien Hardwick, calm down. No, I love Gold Coast though. Maybe in Gold Coast chance. Hawthorn, Essendon. Surely this is the Hawks by how much?
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Yep. GWS and Sydney. I'll be at this game. Looking forward to my first Sydney derby or Battle of the Bridge or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Who wins, boys?
I might go GWS. They seem to be surprising some teams this year, and especially a rivalry game.
Yeah, give me the Giants. Same.
I love the Giants.
No, I'm going Sydney, and I'm going to Heaney Masterclass.
More discreet. How many? What do I need to do with my multi gamble responsibly?
All right. You need to have a Heaney at least 25 and 2, about 14 clearances. Nah. No, in all seriousness, probably yeah, Heaney's gonna have a day out. But so is Clary. So, but no, give me Sydney.
Give me Sydney, no worries. Western Bulldogs, Richmond. Again, surely the Doggies by how much?
Yeah, Doggies.
Yeah.
Right, that was fairly easy.
Yeah.
Brisbane, Port Adelaide, the second to last game of the round. Again, the Lions can get the job done here.
Oh, Port.
Makes it tougher to go, doesn't it? Wow.
Oh,
Could be
not
honestly,
so confident Port.
No, honestly, if it wasn't at the Gabba, I'd actually have some optimism because it's at the Gabba, we're gonna get destroyed. Unfortunately.
Zaki, you're with me and Caddy. It's gonna be a Brisbane masterclass.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, for that reason, being at the Gabba, like Caddy said, I think if it was like they showed against Fremantle, if it was at Adelaide Oval, I think it'd be a lot different. They've got their defensive game going, but not going to be strong enough on the attacking side to be able to take it up with Brisbane, I don't think.
Big call.
Lions by 100. So Prez is quietly confident over on the Brisbane side. North Melbourne and St Kilda. This one, I know the Saints are in the 10, but it feels like a little bit of a finals eliminator if the Saints don't get up, and for North Melbourne, almost certainly.
I think Saints, they've been turning up pressure late in the year to try and make finals. They didn't look like that at the start of the season. They're playing like a bit different, a bit more like desperate.
Oh, media. Gus, are you media trained?
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's a good answer.
It's a very good answer. I like it. I don't know you had that in your bag.
Oh, there you go. When they get press conferences down at Smithfield, you just be sending out.
Absolutely.
If this wasn't on camera, man, you would be like, this bloke would never be media trained ever in his life.
I'll have the Saints because they're my team, but I do think they should get the job done. To be honest with you, especially you take out the first 5 minutes you take the first quarter against the Cats, and it's a lot more competitive than what it was. Boys, I know Zach, North Melbourne, they're like your 5th favourite team, but it changes each week, so you could go for them next week. Did they get it done?
North Melbourne, I think they do. That Marvel. And they've been showing signs. They were good against Melbourne in that first half in particular, faded away, but against a lesser opposition in St Kilda, I think they've got a bit more to offer, so give me North Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking for a new co-host. No, I'm kidding, Zach. Jaden, you're the last one. Where are we going?
No, I think Saints.
Think Saints? No worries.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, that brings us to the end because it's 9 o'clock at night and we don't want to keep anyone for too long. But thank you, boys, for jumping in. That's a pretty good effort for you boys to come along. Jaden had some great thoughts. Angus had some great thoughts. Boys, hope you had a great time.
No, good man. Anytime.
It was good. I'll make sure Prez isn't scared next time.
All right, there we go.
Was he scared? I didn't see that.
Appreciate it. Good work.
He didn't want to come in at first.
I'm surprised Jack isn't in here. He loves
No,
Sean's
we'd
days.
rather that. We'd rather that.
He's downstairs. He's at Zach's house.
Yeah.
He just won't get in.
Keep him out. Keep him out.
Keep him out.
I gotta lock him in.
Jack's name, Zach was
Nice.
Excellent stream, fellas. Love this. Jaden, mate, thanks for tuning in as well. You boys were brilliant for coming on. Zachy, mate, you bring something different to the stream each week. I never quite know what I'm going to get from you, so thanks for jumping on as well, mate.
No, appreciate it, mate. Good show. Good work.
Brilliant as always. Boys, we will see you next week.
Absolutely.
Now, here's a bit of market research. Does 8 or 8:30 work better for you boys? Because we're really open to either.
Usually any time, but next week we got a late basketball game, so 8 o'clock probably.
8 o'clock. What time's your late basketball game?
9:20.
Oh my god, far out.
So we would play in 20 minutes, basically.
Jeez, that is late.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, good luck with that there. So we might go 8 o'clock next week then, Zach. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. Lock it in for the rest of the year, I think. 8 o'clock.
All right, lock in 8 o'clock. We'll see everyone next week. Bye for now.